What's up, everybody? We're back and ready to actually assemble our drippers. So here's all of our supplies. This is what we're going to need. You'll need a couple of pairs of pliers for bending your larger wire. Need one larger wire and one smaller wire. The larger wire is to cut into small, about inch long sections or so. And what we're going to be doing with them is bending them over in half to seal off our final end of the drippers. Each of these drippers is independently sealed off so that the water won't go through this part, and if it does, maybe just a little bit, and it'll mostly get pushed through the holes that actually make up our drip ring. So, and the other trick to these drippers is that each side has to be independent of each other in order for the clips to hold well, I mean not independent but opposite. So one side, when you make your little V, which I'll show you here in a minute, the V of your large wire to close it off, one side will have to go down over it and the other side will have to come up to close it off, and that will make it so that the clips can actually grab a hold of two different areas there, and they'll hold on to the drip ring. Sometimes if you do them both in one direction, the clips can slip off. Just a little note there that'll help you, when you're in your final production stage. So the other thing is, if you're going to make these in bulk, which I do, make two different styles of drippers then, because you're going to have them going in two different directions when you close them off. So figure out which way you need your holes drilled and figure out which way you want your clips to go. So for instance, when I made all of these drippers, I made all of them with the right side, with the holes down obviously, and with the clips going down, and then with the left side I made it with the holes down obviously and the clips going up. So all of my drippers were all the same, and then I have a pile of right side and a pile of left side. You can do it however you want it to. That's just how I do it. I've done a couple of different runs with these, and this is what I found to work the best. Now, at the very end, once you get your dripper all assembled, you will need a clip to hold it together, and it's basically just going to be a shepherd's hook that we're pretty much going to bend by hand. And that's actually, we can just leave that. That's already done. All you have to do is bend both sides of your smaller wire. You want a thin, flexible, pliable wire that you can easily move and get on and off, but something that will still grip onto it. And the other thing with the smaller wire is, if you really want it to hold, you can close in each end so it really seals on the dripper. So anyways, we'll leave that clip pre-made and off to the side there. First things first, we're going to talk about the basic design of the dripper. All it is two hoses off of a T-barb. This is a 1/4 inch T-barb, and basically coming off of either side, I'm just going to do this very lightly right now because they do get stuck in there. We're just going to have it like that, and then that will form our circle essentially once we clip the drippers. So you'll need a bag of, or however many, sometimes you can get them singly at the hardware store, but you'll need some T-drippers. And then also, coming off of your main line that I showed you before in the previous video, you're going to need to have a straight piece that goes to your T-dripper, like so, coming out of your line. So you'll have to have your feed hose basically. So for each dripper that you make, you will also have to have 1/4 inch straight piece to go into your main line. And that's so that's that. And then I will show you a good technique for making the actual holes. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see these on camera here, but these holes can be quite tricky to figure out, and some people drill. And I used to drill them, but or try to poke them with something. But the problem is that you leave plastic in there, and it leaves this little build up to one side or the other, and you can get clogged a lot easier. Your drippers will end up getting clogged a lot easier with all that extra plastic hanging down in there, and the plastic burrs off to either side. So I found a easy, simple way to do this. I've got some unpierced hole or a hose here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a simple pair of scissors, and wherever I want my holes to be, I'm just going to fold it. So essentially I want about 3 holes in this. 1, 2, 3, pretty evenly spaced throughout the thing. So there's 6 holes on each dripper, 3 holes on either side. So for the first hole, I'll make it even right in the middle, fold it directly in half, and I'll squeeze it down. And sometimes it even helps to take your pair of pliers that we'll be using in a minute and squeeze it a little extra so you've got a nice point. Right here is basically where we're going to be focusing. So right on that point, I hope the camera will be able to pick this up, but you just take the edge of your scissors here and you just nip a little tiny bit of that point off. It really doesn't take much to get in there, and then when you fold it and open it back up, you've got a hole, and there's no plastic inside there. It's just a clean drip hole, and you don't have to worry about anything getting in the way. And then you'll do that on each side. Maybe if you want to keep them even, you just fold one end and match it with the middle hole, and then you do the same thing over here and just make a little snip. Just a tiny little bit is all it takes. If you go too big, your holes can get pretty big. So there it is. There you have it. That's the easiest, simplest way to cut holes in flexible drip line. This method may or may not work on the hard drip line, and I never recommend using the hard drip line anyways because it's such a pain. But so anyway, so now we will have cut both sides of our drippers. We'll cut them to the size that we want them to fit into the pot, and however big of a pot you're using, you'll fit it so that your drippers, when you make a circle with them, and when it's an even circle, they should be about halfway between the edge of the pot and the stem. So they should split the radius. So that's about how long you want to make either side of your drippers. So once you've got those pieces cut to the length, you've cut your holes in them, and now we need to put the clips. Now we need to make our clips. How do we make the clips? We take our solid wire, which is very sturdy. It's a thick, durable, I think it's stainless wire, and this stuff is pretty tough, so we're going to need 2 pairs of pliers probably to make our bend, unless you're got some good arm strength, and then you can probably do it with just the one. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut about an inch long piece, maybe a little even less. Just the smaller you cut it, the harder it is to bend it, but you don't want too much hanging over, so there's kind of a fine line there. I've found about an inch or so is just about good. In fact, just the length of these pliers right here is just about perfect. So I'll go ahead and I'll cut my inch section, and then I've got my inch section here. And then if I were making a bunch of these, I would make sure that it's long enough and bend it, and make sure that it would match and would cover over, and I'd get a good size, and then I would cut all of them based off of that one size, and then use that as a template and go through and just line it up, line each one of them up like this. I don't know if you can see this here, but line them up together, and then you just cut, and then you'll come out with a bunch of even sized pieces to use for bending. So now we've got 2 even pieces to use for our drip ring, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the one side of it and put about half of it in the pliers, and we'll take the other side of it and we'll put the other half in the pliers, and then we're just going to give a little 90-degree bend, and so you should have a little L-shaped piece of metal here. Now take it in your big pliers and set it in the center, and you'll want to bend it closed just a little bit, just about to the point of where it can fit over this. So now you'll do this for both of them, and we'll go back through real quick, and we'll set this into here. We'll make our little 90-degree bend, and then Oops. Probably didn't bend it quite enough there, but you can get the idea. So, okay, so we've got our two V's, and you'll have a pile of these if you're going to make them in bulk. They're really simple to make, and I suggest kind of doing it all in one time, doing like all the pieces at one time, because it's just quicker to just make 20 of them, or 50 of them, or however many of them you need, or 5 or 10 of them, or whatever. So now, anyways, we have them, and so what we're going to do is we're going to seal off our drip rings. So like I told you before, you're going to have two separate sides. Each side of your drip ring, you're going to have a left side and a right side, and they'll both have to be different, a different direction for the clasp. So we'll want to keep that in mind. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to pretend like this is like this, and our drip rings are coming off of our T-barb right this way. And then what we'll do is I'll set them down, and I'll take the right hand side and I'll put the clasp down over the top of the hose there, so you can see like that. And then I'll just get my pliers there and just pinch it closed, and then you probably will go over top and just squeeze it down and close it off. So now we've got that side, and we did our clips on the right side going down. So we'll take our left side and we'll do our left side clips coming up. So we take that and we bend that in, and then we go ahead and close it off. Okay, and then we've got our drip rings like that. We've got one going down and one coming up. At this point, we would take our T-fitting and just plug it in. Just plug into your T-barb on either side. I don't know if it'll really let me do it with my clamps already on here. So you would plug in like that, and basically what you're looking at that point in time is something just like this right here. Now go back to our little small wire from the beginning where we made our double shepherd's hook, and we just set it over each side of our clips, and you can bend the wire in a little bit to hold on to it, and then there they are. That's your drip ring. Simple, easy. You can take this clip off and move the drip rings anytime you need to. You can pull the plant out, move it around, reorganize your area, clean, do whatever you have to do, and then just set your drip ring back on, put your clip back on it, and you're good to go. And that's been Hydroponic Drip Rings with Johnny Blaze from Cannovation.com. Stop by, check out more tips and tricks. Got all kinds of good stuff going on over there. Once again, that's Cannovation.com, and this is Johnny Blaze. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great one.